Well, hello all y'all, here's Mr. Dean, and it's time we took a look at how to put in some good trees on here. Look at there. That's a fine looking landscape. Well, this is inspired by my travels through the West recently, and I made a few, notes and decided I need to put this on the map. As you can see, I got a lot more trees to put in. But right up by the railroad and the highways, they got plenty of bush. But by the highways, you want to have at least 30 feet on either side clear. Talked about that earlier, about there needing to be a clear zone. Now, a clear zone doesn't mean it's totally devoid of vegetation. It means it's clear of non-yielding vegetation. So this one is close to being non-yielding. It's almost tree size, but it's also far enough away from the freeway that we're okay with that. But the other things here are bushes and shrubs and grasses and things like that, so they're okay. Alright, so that's what you got near the trains and the highways. You got a lot of brush. Now, mixed in with the brush, I've got some trees, some western trees. And if you notice, it gets a little bit thicker once we get up towards the mountain. Now, that where there's soil, I've put in additional trees. Where there's not a lot of soil or it's high up, I put in a very sparse covering. Alright, how do I do this? Well, there's two ways to do it. One would be to click on Forest Resources and click on each tree and lay it down one at a time or in a very sparse area and then go back over and go back over. Or the other way, my preferred way, is to use the forest brush and to create different brushes that have different things. So I've got scrub and shrub, and I've got western style for what I need to do here. Western style is got all the trees in it, and right now I've got a certain size, strength, and density for that. And scrub and shrub is for the wider painting area, and again with a certain size, strength, and density. Now, the way to build these brushes out is to open up your your forest brush and start clicking on tools, and then when you do that, actually I went nuts there, take a small area and just paint it down. See, does that look okay? And you may want to play with the density and the strength next to it just to see what it looks like on different areas, and you go, oh wow, so this is a really dense area that might be typical for a not so arid plain, whereas this one would be for a more arid location. Obviously I'd want to fix the ground cover situation there, and I can do that with the theme mixer. I could get it to where say the oil or the ore ground color, it looks like a dirt or a desert, and that's much more preferable to the sandy color that they have in the game. I'm not going to play with that right now. And same thing for western style, build it out there, play with the strength and density, come back over it, and okay, so that's what it looks like there. Alright, I'm going to clear that out. Now, to put this stuff in, I've got to start here on this square. I'm going to go over to another square and do a little work on it. Here's a good place to start. Alright, I'm going to begin actually with my scrub and shrub. I've added just a bunch of bushes here. I do not want it on that density or strength. I want it to be very sparse and very large. Let's go with the maximum here. And we'll just give a light dusting to the area. Light dusting. Alright. This is going to cover about 4 squares or so. Okay, light dusting. Let's zoom in on that. Oh, and you can control things by toggling the trees panel, the brush type panel, and the settings panel. There you go. I like to keep this one open because it helps me to see what I'm doing. Alright, so now we've got a lot of scrub and shrub and stuff there. So let's now switch over to our western style. Smaller brush and higher density, higher strength. Alright, now where are we going to put these guys? They're not just going to go paint all over. What I've noticed is that where there are cracks in the, or not cracks, but folds in areas in between areas of the mountain, that's where the trees like to grow. We can grow some more here at the lower area. They do like to grow there, and they do like to grow near water. For some reason there we go. Clicking here doesn't like to work. The game just doesn't want to respect that. Alright, so we can get a little bit larger brush when we're down by the water side. Let's do that. That's good. Alright, once again, just a quick run with it. I don't want to linger too long in this spot because then that means we are going to have a lot of extra stuff there. Alright. I've got those. Let's go back to the smaller size brush because I want to start working in more of those crevices. Alright. Now, if you're thinking, wow, that looks like it could take a long time. Yeah, it can. But it's also a fun time. There we go. So, here we have the thicker woods in the crevices and a little less dense on top of a patch there. That's totally fine. Just keep looking around. Got some crevices over here now. Will anybody see it? Well, yes, from an aerial view, they will. I may want to have something set up for me to enjoy there. But over here, got a nice crevice there. Let's fill it up with some trees. A nice little valley. Now, why do the trees grow more here? Think about water. Think about how it flows and how it collects. So maybe we don't have a lot of streams over here because the trees are absorbing all the water that falls in a particular area. And it's perfectly fine for the trees, but there's just not any left for additional runoff. And that's okay. In fact, that's how retention basins are designed. They do plan on certain types of vegetation being extra absorbent. So if they want to make sure that the retention basin is generally dry, they want really absorbent trees. And if they want it to remain wet, then they pick ones that will tolerate a lot of water but won't necessarily drink it all in. They don't want a lot of thirsty trees there. And we can have bare patches. We can have sparser patches. That's okay. That's very natural. There you go. Usually at the base of the hills, there will be a little more greenery, then it dissipates. Again, think about the water. Think about how it's flowing down and how it's all part of nature here. And then where the water stops flowing around, then there's just not as much tree. And they get dry. There we go. And if anybody's out there waiting for me to say happy trees, here we go. We'll put in some more happy trees here. There we go. And yeah, I do like Bob Ross. Think about what he does. How he talks peacefully and persuades us to do things like put in happy trees. That is the power of nonviolent persuasion. If you think that you have to threaten somebody all the time, well, you'd be wrong. You can be quiet and suggestive, and folks will have a good time as a result. Alright, so look at that. It was a bare mountainside, and now, looking at it from over here, well, it looks pretty doggone western to me. I'm going to from a distance, I'm going to add a few more things just so that way I can, check the view out there. Sometimes you see a crevice where none have been evident before and you want to paint on it. And that's okay. It's all up to you. When do you want to stop? Oh, wow. I'm just breathtaken by that expanse, how it goes and goes and goes. Let's come around over here. Oh yeah, we've got some trees to put in over here. I'm guessing there's not really a dry side to the mountain. Rain can come in from all directions, and that's okay. There's complicated meteorological patterns in effect we don't understand completely, and that's why the trees are the way they are. There we go. A little bit there. And where it's browner, there's not much soil. Trees need more than just water. They need a good place to set up roots. So we'll leave it to the sparse bushes. Take the browner areas. Where it's green, yeah, we'll put little trees up there. It's nice and happy there. There's another little valley, another little valley. By the way, if you don't know who Bob Ross is, look him up. He's got some great videos. He passed away recently, but his legacy lives on. And you can check out his shows, and he shows how to do oil painting and put in a lot of happy trees. And guess what? His techniques will also work in city skylines. Watch them and discover. And look how just like little dabs will do you here. A little dab, a little dab. There you go. Oh, wow, this is coming in really strong now. Yeah. And if all you want to do right now is watch me paint in happy trees, and you want to play this over and over again, go ahead. This is for you to enjoy. And if this is getting you inspired to go out and say, oh, I've got to build out my brush, well then download the trees you like, and then get the forest brush mod, and then start putting in those trees into that brush. And experiment. As you add a tree, like I mentioned, test it, make sure it still looks good. If it doesn't, take the tree out. If it still looks good, keep the tree in. And then with the tree in, add the next one and make sure it keeps looking good. And you can set weights on the tree however you want it to do. You can have them all add up to 100. I put these on 100 because I want them to show up more, and others on 10 because I want to show them up less, and so forth. Or I may just leave them all on 100 and not care. It's all good. Okay, so that is greened up real nice, and if we take a look from the freeway, we're in a car driving by, we're going to go, oh wow, look at how pretty that is. Get the camera, Ma. You got to take us a picture. So what do I do for the marshlands? Well, this is where reading up on what kind of trees and plants grow out in marshes would be a good idea. And then I could go in and paint those in. Probably a lot of shrubs and brushes and little things like that. Let's see, do I have a swamp brush? Not really. I've got the cypress swamp, but that's more appropriate for the south. This is a out west thing. So let's add a brush here, and we'll call it wetland. All right. Now for wetland, I'm going to go through and I'm looking for the types of things that will grow in a wetland. Now this is going a lot faster than I thought it would, but I know that forsythia can grow there. I'm looking for grasses. That grass, I'll put that in. All right, let's take a look and see how it goes. Oh, take off auto density. I always do that. I want to test out it and make sure I set my own density. Okay. Now that is a bit bright. Maybe I don't want forsythia to show up all that much. Let's go back and we'll give that a 1%. Alright, let's go to forsythia. Or 5%. Let's try that. Still too bright. Let's take that off. Alright, that's it. 1% works good for the forsythia. Okay, so that's a good one there. Let's keep going down here. I got my grass. Grass, alder, Apollo, apple, azaleas. Nope, no azaleas. Brittle brush. Ah, the brittle brush. Let's take a look at that. See how the brittle brush shows up in there? Little yellow flowers. That's good. That's a good start. All right, let's clear that out. Coming at it next. Bushy grass is good. I think I don't need to test that. I'm familiar with that one. Coconut, common, cyperus, daffodil, delphiniums. I'm going to skip on the filler bushes. I've used those in a lot of other areas. This I want to be more grassy. Skip through the generics. Oh, the golden phragmites. These guys are always growing there. You see those brown bushes? In fact, I may just want to make one of only the phragmites. Let me come back to that. Alright, we're taking the tall grass. And keep looking them over. I'm going to skip over the pine shrubs and the pine scrub. We're not going to have those. Just looking for grasses here. Grass. And maybe I scroll past it. That's okay. Take tall grass and tall grass cluster. Another tall grass cluster. I'll take that one. Wildflowers. Put the wildflowers in there too. They'll come up. There we go. Not taking hedges, but I'll take weeds. And I'm at the end of the line. All right, let's take a look and see what it does. Oh, looky there. That is a nice meadow. Okay, so I'll clear that out. I'll come back at that later. I wanted to add that one brush for just the phragmites. And those are the grasses that, where'd they go? Oh no! Those are the grasses that like to grow on the banks of the river. Alright, don't panic, they're in here somewhere. Alright, gone through those. Okay, so they're above the peas. Oh, I hate it when I can't find the particular brush or the thing that I want to look for. But it's in here. It's in here. Ah, here, they're golden phragmites. There we go. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Oh, wait. That's not what I want. They're going to be really thick. And these things grow right by the river edge, right where it's wet. So let's put in right there. Lay down a carpet of these. Right there. Right there. Oh, yeah. And then we'll come back with the wetland one above this and take a chance with that. So let's slop all this in. There we go. I'll work on these low-lying areas. Right by the river edge is where we got the phragmites growing. Where it's higher up, we're going to have the other vegetation. Now, where it's really shallow, if it ever uncovers, we're going to go back in there and we're going to paint in some phragmites and just let it simmer, let it bake. Let it get covered and uncovered over time. So I may have to just do a session here without you guys watching where I just paint in a lot of Phragmites. And I'll have fun. It'd be like fishing. It'd be very much like fishing. Waiting for the things to show up that you want to get. Okay. So I've got these Phragmites painted in. Let's come back over here, finish off this side. Alright. Looks like we're just spray painting. Alright. And we are. Alright, so I've got the Phragmites in there. Now I'm going to go with the wetland. We can make this a little bit larger. Maybe a little less strength, a little less density, but overall that's what I want. And notice wherever I've painted the Phragmites, they're already there. So some of the wetland can come in. But for the most part, wherever the Phragmites are, wetland won't go. Alright, let's take a look now. And oh ho ho. Look at there. So let's say we're on the highway. When we look out, we see that wetland. And just focus on this area here, because we're going to continue with it up there. And we see the interplay with the Phragmites and the, oh, what are these here? Well, oh, they start with F, not a PH and F, but that interplay of color there, that little pop of yellow, that's just perfect. We got the 1%'s the right one. We got the little pink flowers, and we look off over to the side over here. We see another higher elevation. We've got brushes for every season, or every location now, and that's a good thing. Well, I hope this inspires you to get out your forest brush and start painting on your own. Like, comment, subscribe, and so forth, and I hope you have a really happy time with your city painting. Bye for now.